Is this bad to say? Can I say this about Cruise Line? Probably not, but it's the truth. So here we go. Hey everybody, happy TNG Tuesday, it's Gianna. So this is a video that I've been kind of like dreading making forever. It's the video of how I quit my contract on Disney Cruise Line, or how I terminated my contract early on Disney Cruise Line. It's kind of like hard for me to get all of the details out now because I've been separated from it for so long, so the feelings aren't as strong. As you can see in my other videos, I talk a lot about how Cruise Line is just like so different than real life and how you wouldn't know unless you've been there. And now being away from it for so long, it's kind of like I don't even remember. When I watch videos of myself on Cruise Line, I'm like, who is that girl? Like, what is even happening there? Because it's so strange and I can't wrap my head around like the series of emotions that I went through. Going on Disney Cruise Line, I was like still recovering from like a pretty bad breakup. And I guess subconsciously, I mean, I didn't think it at the time, but I think I was going on Cruise Line kind of. It was my dream job and I was so excited to get it, and it was like everything, and being a fairy was everything. I'm not like coming down on Cruise Line or anything like that, but this is just my story and my perspective. On my last night when I was there, my trainer Sophia said to me, you know, like everybody when they come to the ship, they're running from something. And I think that that was kind of like what I was running from, those like feelings, that like sadness that I had. And being on Cruise Line was like being in a different world. It's like being abroad, this weird thing that you're thrown into, and it's like craziness, and it started to like really wear me down. And when things started going wrong, when I started getting really depressed on Cruise Line, I like try and like make things sound downplayed because I don't want everybody to be like, oh my God, she's such a baby. Here we go with the story. Pretty late into my contract, like right before I ended, I had like really bad issues with my left foot, and that's purely because of the amount of work that you do on Cruise Line. You're working 70+ hours a week. You're on your feet 95% of that time, I would say. And there was something wrong with my foot. So at first I didn't really know, and my pinky on my left foot, my pinky toe was like twice the size of my toe on my other foot. One of the girls in the boutique had the same problem as me, and she went to the doctor for it, and they sent her off in Nassau, and they like cut a chunk of her pinky toe off. This shit you could not make up, I'm telling you. I'm like, I'm not getting off in Nassau, I'm getting my toe chopped off. I'll be clear with everybody, the real issue here is that we had corns on our toes, and a lot of girls in the boutique had them because they're like, rotate your shoes, which I did, but medical is like a very weird thing on Cruise Line, and I'm gonna make a separate video about medical. I was getting to the end of my rope. I was having a tough time. I was just like depressed being there. I was depressed with somebody else having complete control of my freedom and my life. You have very, very, very little freedom on the Cruise Line, and the little freedom that you have frequently gets taken away from you, which is extremely frustrating. It depends on what manager you have at the time, and everybody's rules are different. It's not a uniform thing. So, you know, these managers go on vacation, they come back, and one's really nice. They let you go to Flo's, and you're okay to go upstairs and eat. And then one comes back and they're not really nice, and they don't let you go to Flo's, so they take that away from you. And you can't go get pizza and watch the fireworks, which is like the one thing that keeps you sane in the week. I know it sounds so trivial, but it's so important. Things like your 2 o'clock start, which is the only time you have off in the month, gets taken away because of the demands of the business or whatever. It's just annoying. Like, stuff builds up and it's like blow after blow after blow, and you're like, okay, how much can I really take though? Because I'm giving my life and my soul and everything I have to this company, and I'm getting shit in return. My mom came to visit and my dog died. You saw that in my photo diary vlog part 2. And that was like sad for me, but it wasn't terribly sad. And then I had some family issues and I had to leave on emergency. So emergency leave is something that you can do during your contract. You can do it one time and you can leave, I believe, up to 2 weeks. It depends on like what is actually happening. You can get off the ship. You have to do everything like you're leaving though. So I got off the ship for emergency for 3 days, and I had to completely pack up my entire cabin and move off of the ship, because I guess technically they don't really know if you're gonna come back or not. So I left the ship for 3 days, and it was like the most beautiful, it's like I had never experienced life before. I remember calling my mom and being like, how long do you think it's gonna last where I get in a car and I'm able to drive and I just like sob, or I can like roll the windows down and feel air? We joked about it in the boutique, but it's true. Like we would go outside and get in the car and drive with the windows down, and you're almost like choking because you haven't had so much air in so long. And it's crazy to feel like that, because in normal life, you would never feel like that. There would just be these like crazy feelings. And I remember like seeing land at night for the first time. And I was with Shannon and I just like started crying. And it was January, so there were still Christmas lights up, and it was like the most incredible thing I had ever seen. I thought I would never see land at night again. This was after 4 months of my contract, mind you. So 4 months of never seeing land at night, 4 months of not breathing fresh air regularly, 4 months of only being able to drive my car 1 day or 2 days a week if I was really, really lucky, sometimes no days a week. So it was just like these feelings of like freedom, oh my, and that's what ruined it for me. Because once I got a taste of freedom, it's like being in jail. When you're let out of jail, you're like, oh my God, I can't go back to jail. That's exactly how I felt. I was like, I can't go back to jail. So that Monday I boarded the ship, and my friends came on board, Christy and Nicholas, and it was fun, but I was like, I gotta get off this ship. I was like almost panicked now. I had all this anxiety about being there. My foot issue was like getting worse. And I remember one morning I was walking down the I-95 for load. So like I was walking down the crew member only area, and I was getting ready to like load the merchandise onto the boat for the next cruise. And I was limping. I'm like, what is this life that I'm living? Everybody's gonna think this is so dramatic, because there are people out there who love cruise line, and that's great. I, for one, am not about like this super structured, like jail type, military type lifestyle. Everything is dictated for you. You have no say in your own life, and I'm like very not for that. And it's not me. And I didn't know that before I got on cruise line, but now I know, and it's great. And I tried it, and it's all good, and it's over with. So I'm so thankful for my experience, but this is what my experience was. And I want to share it with other people who wonder, you know, whatever happened with cruise line, or like they want to go on cruise line, but they don't know if they're going to like it or not, or if this lifestyle is for them. So I'm here for all of your questions and things like that. Anyway, so after Christy and Nicholas got off the ship, I decided to go down to the office and put in my 30 days. So for cruise line, you cannot put in your 2 weeks, you have to put in 30 days. And if you put in your 30 days, you are on a 6-month restricted rehire from the Walt Disney Company. So I was planning on moving to Florida when I got off the ship, but that like was such a bummer, because I really did want to work for the company right away, because I love the company. I just couldn't do it on cruise line. A few days are kind of like going by, and my foot's getting worse, and I am mentally like miserable. So I put in my 30 days, and I'm just like going through the motions, and I tell the other girls in the boutique, and we're like, okay, so we have to make this list of all the things we're gonna do in the 30 days. And we're just gonna have fun. We're gonna do all these things. We're gonna get your mind off it. It's gonna be great. 5 days later, it was a Thursday, and I woke up just being like, I cannot live on a ship anymore. I am meant for land. I am meant for freedom. I am meant for living with my own choices. On Thursday morning, I woke up and I'm like, I just can't. I can't do it. And once I set my mind to that thought that I could not continue on cruise line, it was done. I went down to the office. I was like, listen, I need to leave like today. And they were like, you know, go in the boutique, work your shift today, see how you feel. I'm sure you don't want to do this. And part of me was like, maybe I don't, but the thought of getting off and being on land was so close, and the next day would be a port day, so I would get off in the morning. I felt like I just needed to do it. So I did my shift that day. And I was like, if I'm this unhappy, if I'm this miserable, if I'm in this much pain, if I'm just like hating it, it's not for me. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave. Goodbye. So I went down to the office and I was like, I made my decision. I'm not gonna continue on. And they told me what they told me, and that will be a separate video. They were like, okay, well, by 6 a.m. you gotta have like all your stuff packed and be out. So I went back to my room, started packing. I went up to the boutique, and whenever you finish your contract, the fairy godmothers pixie dust you. Everybody sends you off with pixie dust, just like in the parks when you're done with your job. Since I was leaving forever, I really wanted to get pixie dusted because it was always something that I wanted to do. And so I went up to the boutique and got pixie dusted.
1, 2, 3. Bibbidi bobbidi boo, a beautiful fairy I make you. May all your dreams and wishes come true. Bibbidi bobbidi boo.
Oh my god!
You can take a nice shower tomorrow.
Anybody who's in here tomorrow have to refill the ones. Look at it.
Just put the empty ones over there and we'll refill it first thing in the morning. By the way, we got new ones today.
Must have been a big wish.
I hope whatever you wish for me.
Princess, it was a big wish.
Wait. I've got sparkles all over my hair, so now I have to do
Yes,
Simba.
your hair's so sparkling.
Gianna is Simba, I'm Rafiki.
He's a circle.
Love you
Come to the bar.
We gotta go to Vanellope's.
Let's go whatever.
So after that, I went down to my cabin and I decided I was gonna have one fun last night. So we went up to Vanellope's, all of us girls together. And then we went to the crew bar and I just said goodbye to everybody. And the joy that I felt from knowing I was gonna get off the ship like totally trumped the sadness that I felt from leaving the ship. I was so excited to get back to real life and freedom and driving and everything, and I just couldn't wait. And I was packing in my room after, you know, saying goodbye to everybody, and my leader came in and she just looked at me. We were supposed to leave the same day, April 6th, and this is now like February, and I'm getting off the next day, and she just looked at me and I looked at her and she just started bawling her eyes out, and I started bawling my eyes out. And she just said, you know, like, I'm really proud of you for making this decision. And honestly, everybody was extremely supportive, and they were all like, you're so brave to be getting out of here. You're so brave. You're doing something we all want to do. And I was like, it's so sad that like I have the opportunity to do so because I'm from the States, and like getting back home isn't as big a deal as like flying back to Portugal or the Philippines. It's just like I can just get in my car and drive home. I made this video diary. I haven't watched this the whole way through just because I feel like it's really cringy. And I watch it and I'm like, who is that girl? And it's so weird because I'm just so disconnected from this person in this moment in time. And I remember feeling like I was so rewired on cruise line that I would never be normal again. And that's what I was so messed up about, is that I thought that I would never be normal again. And it didn't take very long, and I am fully back to normal. So anybody on cruise line who's feeling that you will never be normal again, you will be normal again. You will be very normal, and everything does go back to normal, just the way that it once was. So let's roll that clip. Okay, so hello, future Gianna of the future. This is you, Gianna of the past, on Thursday, February 1st, 2018. I don't know if I'm ever gonna post this anywhere or anything, but I want you to know that in this moment, and in the grand scheme of things here on Cruise Line, you made the best decision for yourself. Even though it's a hard decision, you made the best decision for yourself by leaving. So this is the night. You just had your last night in the boutique. You had your last princess tonight. Her name is Elena. I want to make this quickly to let you know that your feelings are valid here. And I know nobody else in the world sees it, but nobody's going to understand what you went through on cruise line. And this was hard, like really hard. And you feel like crazy right now. You feel like you're never going to be back to your normal self, and that's fine. You've also learned a ton, and you've met so many cool people, and now you have so many different friends from Portugal, from Brazil, from Trinidad, from Australia. You have friends from literally all over the world, and this experience has definitely changed your life. But you're ready to move on, and that's okay. Yeah, of course it's sad, because literally BBB is the best job. But I want to say some stuff that you're always going to remember is that these girls like have been so important to you, and they've been so good to you, and you have made like more solid like girlhood here. The next morning I woke up bright and early, bushy-tailed and excited, and I ran off the ship after of course saying goodbye to everybody on the I-95 and crying. I got off the ship and I drove myself to a Radisson in Orlando, and I fell asleep for 2 days, and I ate an entire pizza by myself. And it was literally the best thing. It was what I had always imagined while being on cruise line. It's what I was like always thinking, like, imagine having a full day off. Imagine having a full day where you could do anything you want. Imagine sleeping in a bed where you could put your arms in the air, or imagine sleeping in a bed where you can like roll over and you wouldn't fall on the ground. And I got to do all of those things, and I got to eat food from the real world, and it was a dream. And then I got to fly home and be with my parents and my family and surprise everybody. I ended up going to the foot doctor, or the podiatrist, after I got home. And I was telling her about my foot. She's like, we're gonna take some x-rays. And she came back in the room and she said, have you like broken your foot recently? And I was like, not that I know of. And she said, like that long bone there on your foot, that's underneath your pinky toe, broke. And it's healing now, but it was broken. And I was like, huh, good to know. So like this whole time that I was struggling and like I thought I was crazy, I had a broken foot. So wild. But all in all, I'm really happy with my decision to end my contract early. I haven't been on cruise line since, but very shortly I am going on the Alaskan Disney cruise, and that is going to be very interesting for me to cruise as a guest after being a crew member. I'm really excited to see like how that all plays out, how I feel about everything, and keeping you all updated with the journey, of course. Little piece of advice for everybody. If you're not happy where you are, there's always room to wiggle. And I know that sounds stupid, but like, it doesn't necessarily always mean you have to quit something, or that you have to like listen to me and be like, oh, she felt freedom, so I have to leave too. That doesn't mean it's gonna work for you, but change your situation so that you're happy, because life is too short to be miserable anywhere. And I'm a very big advocate of just being happy where you are and doing things that make you happy, and I want everybody that watches these videos to be so happy. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your love and support, and thank you for surpassing 500 subscribers. If you're watching my videos and you're not subscribed, please click that subscribe button. If you liked this video, click like so I know, so I can make more videos like this. I really appreciate all of your support all the time, and I love you guys so much. Happy Teensy Tuesday. I hope I will see you next week too. Bye.